I'm author Mark Muncy,
And I'm author Erika Lance.
and this is Eerie Travels. Greetings, travelers.
Greetings, travelers.
Oh,
Greetings, travelers.
What?
Yes.
a third voice.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
I feel like I'm cheating now. I'm just barged in here. And you left me hanging. I only got to talk about mermaids. Now I get to talk about this.
Okay, so travelers, we are back from the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Festival.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd do a recap of that. Not sure how long this episode will go. It might be one of our shorter ones.
It could be.
It could be,
It
but
could be.
we, of course, we invited the amazing Valerie Willis, who was with us at Smoky Mountain Bigfoot, along with Mark's amazing wife, Carrie Muncy. So, but what we thought we would do is kind of talk about what our experience was like and everything for this conference for 2023.
Oh yeah, it was it was a crazy event. We the trip up was exciting.
It's always exciting.
Always exciting to drive up from Florida any time of year, but especially when you're escaping 107 degrees, feels like indexes or higher. I think we had 110 the week right before we
118.
Yeah, it was crazy. The humidity is nuts right now down in Florida.
Yeah, watching the temperature drop from 102 to, and then we hit the big storm and over there in Cornelia. So it was like, it dropped to like 67 degrees. And I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, and that was like a major storm front.
Oh my God, yes. It was like a microburst.
Yeah, we were driving across the 75, or no, we were actually on the back roads then. We were already on 440, 23 and 441.
Yeah.
And it was pretty epic to watch the storm clouds roll in over the mountains. So
Well, you guys also said that you could see about a foot in front of your face. So we shouldn't
Yeah.
talk a lot about long driving in rain, but I'm just glad you both didn't wreck on your way up, driving separately, ending up at the Buc-ee's together, not realizing you were at the Buc-ee's together. Then
Yes.
Mark ran for the hills away from Valerie, and then Valerie somehow beat him to the same location. So not gonna lie, but Buc-ee's, if you're listening out there, Mark would really love for you to sponsor us. You could just send us cases of the white chocolate bugle things.
Yes.
Yes, and that would be fine. But let's talk about Smoky Mountain Bigfoot, because that
Yeah.
was held in the convention center in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which is where apparently they hold it every year.
yeah, this is the 5th year of it. So, and now for those who haven't ever been to Gatlinburg, it is right in the heart of the Smoky Mountain National Forest.
Yes.
And to get there really is only 1 or 2 roads. And you either come in from the Cherokee side, like we did,
Yeah.
North Carolina, or you come in from the Pigeon Forge side,
which is less,
Tennessee. Yeah,
yeah, but that's less harrowing, the Pigeon Forge side.
it's still, when you get into the mountains, it's pretty.
It's pretty, but it's
switchbacky.
not as bad as going over the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah.
So I will say, having made a mistake and an error and having to drive there, drive back
Oh,
again,
yes.
I got very familiar with this particular bypass. So but it's held in a beautiful convention center right in the heart of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We will say, if you plan on going there, we suggest you stay at a hotel very close to there.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of traffic, especially on a Saturday down in Gatlinburg.
Yeah, Gatlinburg is like International Drive in Orlando is the closest thing
Yeah,
you can
that's exactly.
compare it to,
Yeah.
where it's just every tourist in the Smokies is there. There is every restaurant, every little thing you can imagine. All the
Mhm.
tourist attractions are right there, and it's basically 2 roads. And,
Yeah.
and so it's all the traffic is
Yep.
right there. There is limited parking, so you have to plan ahead. And yeah. it
Yeah.
was
And
very-
enough about the boring stuff to get to the con. Let's talk about the con.
Yes.
So the guest list this year had quite a few people from the
BFRO.
BFRO. I'll get all the letters correct at some point in time. I probably won't, travelers, you know that. But so that was, I think, a little controversial in the Bigfoot
The
community.
fact that they didn't have anybody not from the BFRO, that is now the BFRO. The reason that's controversial is that's kind of like if a UFO conference only has stuff from MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. These are organizations that are the major organizations researching these phenomena, these creatures, these things, but there is no second opinion with them.
Yeah, no. And so I think there was some controversy. So we want to state for the record, Eerie Travels does not stand on one side of this or the other. We are a neutral party when it comes to Bigfoot, I believe. Mark,
Yeah, no, I think there is more, there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy, Horatio. I am not 100% that Bigfoot is a flesh and blood lost monkey, or lost ape or lost primate here in the woods of Smoky Mountains, Ocala, whatever. I still think, where do the footprints stop and all that? But I am also not 100% into the paranormal camp, or as like the Bigfoot people like to call it, the woo side of things. I love that that's what they call it. It's a takeoff on voodoo side of things. But
I mean, there's several theories, like the interdimensional aspect. There's the and the UFO aspect are also different opinions, if I remember right, for Bigfoot stuff.
yeah, now so this third voice you're hearing that I think we need to introduce.
I did.
'cause-
I said you
did we? Wow, that's how out of it I am.
excited about talking about the traffic ride up to Bigfoot. You missed the entire intro of our guest, author Valerie Willis. But I'll reiterate it again for the marks in the back here. So this is what happens. This is why we can't have nice things, travelers, is that I'm the only one paying attention. And this is a bad thing.
Yeah.
We all know if Erika's the only one paying attention, then it's a terrible idea.
This is bad. But anyway, yes, but that's like you said, that the paranormal aspect, the other dimensional, otherworldly, maybe ghostly, that the BFRO speakers 100% that cannot be.
Yeah.
That is amongst these speakers.
Yeah, and so it wasn't bad. We had one of the friends of the podcast was the host.
Yes, Ryan Golimsky, RPG from Finding Bigfoot. He was the showman of showmen, as always. If I had 1/10 of that man's energy, it was pretty incredible.
I got to meet Ryan for the first time in person, and I got the biggest hug in the entire world from this man. He is a hugger.
He is a hugger.
He gives good hug, just in case anybody's wondering about that.
Yep, and he agreed to come on the show for future episodes. So
he'll be on the show.
He will have his opinions on the matter. So he's like us, where he kind of dabbles in a little bit of both sides of things.
Yes, but I will say, the event itself did a tremendous job. They had an absolutely wonderful vendor space and a wonderful sponsor space and a great auditorium space that was separated. So that was very nice, and they were very hospitable, and I think a lot of people had a really good time if they came to listen to the speakers, and if shopping and stuff. So, and we had the opportunity to meet quite a few Eerie Travels fans. Travelers came out to see us.
Yes, one of our first people we saw that actually came up to us was a fellow vendor, and we love them dearly, and they've been fans of ours since the early days. And another shout out for them, I think we've shouted out for them before, but it is Adulting Axolotl.
Yes,
which you cannot have a better name for your shop.
Yes, their stuff is amazing. They happen to make some very fun, like cross stitch at home signs, and one of them was made in our honor around Cocaine Bear, because they listened to our first episode and it inspired them to make this amazing cross stitch that you can hang up at your house. And me and Mark are each getting one, because that's what happens.
It's a must. And it's one of those wonderful, may such and such bless this house. But it was may Cocaine Bear destroy this house last.
Yes. So we're gonna put that near the front door. We think that's a motto one should live by. So
heck yeah.
We're excited to see them, and we're excited to see all the fans that came out and make some new fans and stuff. Valerie, you had an interesting encounter with someone.
Yeah, no, it's amazing going to these Bigfoot conferences and stuff because there's a lot of people eager to share their stories, and especially
yes.
with us vendors who are willing to take a minute to listen and swap stories and share our fandoms and stuff. And one woman in particular, I guess she's out of Alabama, and like as she's telling me her encounter, she's like, there is definitely like a group of Bigfoots in the area, and
What is a group?
chills.
Is
It
a
is
group of?
it is officially a group of Bigfoot is Bigfoot. There is
It's
no,
just Bigfoot?
it's not big feet. It is not Bigfoots.
It's not a murder of big
It's
feet.
not a murder of Bigfoot.
It is not a
It is-
gaggle
It's
of
not a
big feet.
flock,
It
it's not
is-
a herd.
It is a pack of
Pack of
Bigfoot.
Pack
So,
of Bigfoot.
So
So
this is like the moose and the meese
yeah,
conversation.
yes. I hate Mises to pieces. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Yes, I need
all
to
right. So anyway,
clarify.
continue. You have the lady has a pack
pack
of
of
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot living in the woods behind her house in Alabama. And of course, she's just getting goosebumps as she starts
yeah.
to tell me. And then she shows me a picture of a big print and then a smaller print. And she's like, this print's about 16 inches long, but the smaller print in it. And she's like, and I didn't even notice the small print. I showed this to my veterinarian to see if what he thought what the footprint was. And he's like, dude, you have a Bigfoot, and look, there's a tiny one in it. So
I just need to clarify because I feel like I can make my Star Wars reference. So the Bigfoot, not big feet, not the herd, the Bigfoot
the pack.
walk single file to hide their numbers.
I
Travelers, if you get that reference, tag the post. I want to know immediately. You are my new favorites. Continue on, Valerie, with the story.
And she, and she showed other pictures, and she's convinced that they're the ones digging up these yellow jacket nests out of the ground
Oh, wow.
and eating the larva, because she usually finds a print near these areas. So, and another thing she showed me is from her Ring camera, she got weird lights, and she's a firm believer that someone is picking up and dropping off these Bigfoot. And I'm gonna fight this big feet. But it was really cool because people were
Wait,
willing to
wait,
share-
whoa,
what?
pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. I'm back. I have a question. I just need to clarify. Does she think aliens are picking up the Bigfoot, her gaggle of Bigfoot, and putting them on a spaceship and then bringing them back? Or is it like a Jurassic Park, like a pickup truck thing?
I don't
What did she think?
know. I don't know.
Because you said circle of lights.
The circle of lights, yeah, and you can kind of see them, and they're really weird. But like she made it sound like she's convinced someone is picking them up and dropping them
So
off.
aliens of some sort,
Yeah,
maybe, or
aliens.
dimensional beings.
Yeah.
Now I have a couple thoughts on this.
Oh,
Not
is one
having
of them what the actual fuck? Because that's my first thought.
double prints are a common thing in Bigfoot mythology, Bigfoot studies, but it's usually that's what we find of bears, where bears step in their own prints and it makes a double print, and that's what is often confused for a Sasquatch track, because bear double tracks look giant, and it's just because bears walk in their own tracks because they got 4 legs. It's what happens. And so that can make false Bigfoot impressions. And usually it takes a cast to figure out, oh, this is a double impression. Now, that said, the young Bigfoot marching in the steps of the Bigfoot print, that is the other alternative explanation for that.
I like that you're avoiding the word myth.
I'm
Very
trying to say,
dedicatedly, you're avoiding the word myth.
I don't say myth because I do believe these are something we don't understand. These are, there is a population of some sort of bipedal creature. I don't believe it is 100% flesh and blood. I am not the BFRO that this is. There can only be 70 of them in Florida because that's how many panthers can support in the population. So that means that's how many, I don't believe that, following that logic. I mean, if you're going that way with zoological stuff, then Mothman can't fly and other things can't do the things they do. I think these are things that we don't understand yet. Now that leads to that, but then the circle of lights that she's got on the camera and all
Yeah.
that, again, the skeptic in me has to say, I've seen a lot. People send me a lot. Lot. And I love it when you listeners send me stuff, when my readers send me stuff that, are security cameras and things like that. And I really feel bad when I have to debunk them. But it is what you do. You immediately go to, and circle of lights and ring cameras and security cameras and all that are usually some form of mosquito, bug, or some sort flying near the camera and being picked up by the security light, the flash. And that's why we get, ghost orbs as dust. Most rings on camera, most circles and stuff of lights like that. Usually not UFOs or UAPs, whatever they want us to call them now. They're usually a simple explanation, usually bugs or something. So I hate to debunk this lady's stuff, but everything you just said to me says double bear print and and a bugs.
Was it?
But
a
I didn't
tiny
see it, so I
footprint
don't know.
within the print.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't. No, your bear thing goes out the fucking window if it's a tiny print within
It's a tiny print in the center of this bigger one and not
Well,
touching
that's-
the edges.
The way that works in bear prints is the big one is where they slip in the mud, and then the second one is stepping in where they'd already slipped, so it's solid. And so it looks like a much smaller print in the bigger print.
Erica's gonna fight you on this.
I know.
I-
I am the one saying this. I'm the one who's the believer.
First of all, what the hell happened that you're on that fence and I'm on the other fence this time? Like, how is that even possible?
How'd you become the true crime person?
Yeah, like, excuse me, Mark, who are you and where is Mark
I go
Muncy?
with Bigfoot hunters and Bigfoot, expedition people, and that
Yeah, with
is
Bigfoot people.
and
I
that
get
is the
that.
most common thing we are sent, and it is the most common thing we have to say.
I was
sorry.
nervous at Spooky Empire when I was on a panel and it was going to be me, Mark, and Stacy Brown. And he's like, I can't wait for you to meet Stacy Brown. And I'm like, but I don't feel qualified to be on a Bigfoot panel. And he's like, sure you are. I'm like, but Mark, all I wrote was erotica called Sleeping with Sasquatch.
Okay, well now Val's embarrassed herself. Mark's acting like a weirdo. So, travelers, we're going to have to take a quick break and we will be right back with this episode. It might just be me, though. You never know. Okay.
Eerie, Appalachia. Gear up for a frightful jaunt into the darkest reaches of the ancient Appalachians. Folks deep within the Appalachian hollers lean close to the campfire to share stories of the inexplicable with hushed awe. Monsters rumbling in the hills, strange lights darting through the pitch black night sky, horrible occurrences almost ineffable in their bizarre tragedy. Tall tales, you might say. Tell that to the Flatwoods monster in Braxton County, West Virginia, or the Goat Man of Louisville. Look into his humanoid eyes and let him know you don't believe. And what of those apparitions in Mammoth Cave's Corpse Rock, or the Satan spawn known as the Jersey Devil? How do you respond when confronted by these mysteries? From the metaphysical energy that swirls near Serpent Mound in Ohio to Point Pleasant's Mothman legacy, Mark Muncy and Carrie Schultz explore the dark history lurking in the shadows of Appalachia. Read by Mark Muncy, author and experts on strange folklore with appearances on shows such as Ancient Aliens, The Curse of Robert the Doll, and many, many more.
Greetings, mortals and others. I'm Dick Terhune, the voice from hell. I work with haunted attractions all over the US, Canada, and Europe to increase audiences and enhance their experience with highly effective commercials, narrations, animatronic character voices, whatever your dark heart desires. Let me help you do more, scare more, profit more. Find out more at Voice from Hell on Facebook and at voicefromhell.com.
So, travelers, apparently there were body snatchers. So I've managed to actually get rid of both of them. It took me a little bit. So there was a pause on this recording, but needless to say, I actually got the real Mark Muncy back. And I'm going to try to get Valerie to stop talking about the porn she writes so that we can continue on with this episode. So now that they're back, Mark, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, how are you?
What have I missed?
You missed apparently somehow at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Festival, you were body snatched.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that explains a lot because I don't remember much of the drive home.
Yeah, no, I
So-
can understand that. But just to we already talked about the speakers and everything like that. So
Okay.
I think we should talk about some of the vendors had some really amazing stuff that was very unique.
Always at these conferences, bring your cash, gang, bring your cash. There's some cool stuff.
Yeah, so
Not
there-
just our swag, but other cool
yeah,
stuff too.
no, that's true. We did have for the first time have Eerie swag, and we had people picking up their Eerie
Yeah.
Traveler swag.
Yeah, we had a couple patches gone out the door right off the bat, and then we got a lot of new listeners. that
Yes.
picked up some things. So
Yeah, so if you are from the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Festival, welcome travelers. But one of the really neat things about Gatlinburg that I didn't know that I learned from Mark, which does not warrant its own episode ever, is did you know Gatlinburg almost burned down completely in a fire, listeners? No, I did not either. There are travelers going, yes, Erika, I knew that. Tell me something new. But when did that happen?
I'll have to look up the exact dates, but that was just less than 10 years ago, and the whole town was engulfed in the wildfires of the Smoky Mountains,
Yeah.
and it was pretty terrible. The whole town was thought was going to be lost, and
But one of our Eerie friends, so
yes,
Mark, share that story because that's kind of a fun part of going to there, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
one of the oldest attractions in Gatlinburg, and that's saying something because Gatlinburg is an old tourist town, is the Gatlinburg Mysterious Mansion, which kind of a haunted house, but also kind of like early escape room. It was very, very early days. There were weird puzzles you had to solve to get through each room, like find the door behind the fireplace and all this. I know literally the fireplace opens. It's very cool. No spoilers, but yeah, spoilers.
Apparently, there's
been
a
around.
spoiler. There's a door behind the fireplace.
Yeah,
Continue
they
on.
have you go up and through this old mansion, and it's over the years it's been revamped a number of times where they've made it more spooky, more like a haunted house, and then less spooky and more like just kind of a cool place to walk through. Very haunted mansion vibes. It was built around the same time as the haunted mansion, but that fire was coming through. Now the owner of the place is an old haunter, like we had Leonard Pickle on, and we've had haunters on. They are known for their ingenuity. The whole town was being evacuated because it was going to be bad, and they weren't sure what anything was going to be saved, and they tried desperately to save this place. So they came up with a brilliant plan involving PVC pipe and sprinkler system, and not a fancy sprinkler system, the old classic arm, and they literally wired all their well water around their house, spraying the house constantly with water as they fled, and it sprayed all over the mansion. When the fires came through the town, we were all waiting with bated breath on Facebook and everything, going, what happened? Because there was nobody allowed into the town, only rescue workers and all this. And some of the early videos were coming with cell phone cameras, and it looked like the mansion was 100% safe. And we were like, hey, what? Because it literally, the hotel right next to it, completely destroyed. And we saw that, and we were like, oh no, there's no way the mansion survived. But there was green grass around it, and there was the mansion perfectly saved, like a ghost had protected it. And people said the ghosts of the mansion protected the mansion. No, the genius of a haunter using all the leftover PVC pipe and cheap garden hoses and water saved his building. Not that it would work for everybody, but boy, did it work for them.
Wow. Oh, I love that story. I love that story. So before we get to our travel back, because we have an interesting part
We
of
have a couple
traveling
interesting
back,
parts
yeah.
of traveling back.
But let's start with Valerie. What was your favorite part of the conference?
Oh my God, the merchandise. If you're looking for any kind of cryptid fun shirts, knickknacks, I debated very closely. I almost caved getting coasters with Bigfoot themed stuff. I mean, there was something for everyone there. I picked up the conference had a great logo this year with a Bigfoot riding on top of a black bear, which was fantastic. So I got my family's shirts with the logo and stuff. But the merchandise was a lot of fun, like all those great shirts of, hide and seek champion, but it's done in like 80 billion different variants. So you can so many Hawaiian shirts, the customers walking through. I don't think I ever saw.
I totally appreciate that.
I don't think I ever saw one Hawaiian shirt with Bigfoot on it that matched the last one I saw walk through. It was incredible.
Very cool. What about you, Mark?
Again, I love some of the merch. My favorite shirt was one that just was a Bigfoot print that just said, "I hate people." I thought that was subtle and really well done. There was a couple really interesting items nearby. There was a Sasquatch collar, which was pretty cool. It was a whoop maker, which only happened a few times at the conference. I was very surprised. Florida Bigfoot Conference, people would start whoop hollers, which is a thing that you practice to summon Bigfoot out in the woods. You make the whoop sound that they make, and then everybody in the the place will start whooping back. That didn't happen at this one very often, but a couple times, it was an attempted whoop, chain. But I think my favorite thing there was at one point I got to talk to RPG, and we were getting him ready to come on to our show, and we were talking, and he had forgotten that it was his time to be up on stage to introduce the next act. So he had finally taken a break to eat, and he wolfed down 3 chicken tenders in about 38 seconds. And I will never forget that sight. Thank you, RPG, for that.
Okay, I'm sure that's what RPG wants to be remembered for. I'm going to stick with the hug because I think that's a nicer way to approach this. But I have to say, one of my favorite parts was seeing the rest of the podcasters and our fellow, enthusiasts. Now, of course, a lot of the podcasts are centered around paranormal, or there was a lizard hunting podcast there. And so it was neat seeing all the different people from the different podcasts that are similar to ours and having that kind of community. I think that's really, really cool and really, really fun. And we got a lot of cards, so we should be on theirs and them on us. And so we should be basically whoring ourselves out to other podcasts and vice versa. I think that's the term, right, Val?
Yeah.
Is that the term you use in Sleeping with Sasquatch?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Now she's embarrassed. So that's fun.
That's fun.
Let's move on from the conference though and talk about, we have got to eat into back-to-back haunted places.
Yes, and that seems to be a trend with us. So
Yeah, that's because you have creepy ghosts follow you everywhere. And if Callie was able to be here, they would say that exact thing.
right to my face. Yeah. So doing the magic behind the scenes here. But we stopped at, what was the name of the place again? I got to pull it up.
Cherokee.
It was in Cherokee, and it was
the Indian Brewing Tap and Grill.
Yep, that is Native Brewing Tap.
Native Brewing. There we go.
Native Brews Tap and Grill.
There we go.
And it was pretty impressive food. And they had, we didn't have to wait too long to get in, considering Cherokee on a Saturday night. And
No, it was nice. The food was really, really fun and amazing. They have a great menu. And so we were able to, we needed food. Okay, it
was the end of a long day, and when you're at a con, you only have con food.
And Gatlinburg was out of the question because by the time we got loaded and out, it was nuts. Again, that whole Point Orlando vibe, that once it hits peak time, forget it. And even if you walk to someplace, you were going to be waiting 40 minutes. So we decided to drive the 15-30 minutes over through the mountains to Cherokee, and
it was an hour. That's okay. Again, I'm very sorry, travelers, because it appears my co-hosts today are not quite on.
We lost track of time.
That's okay.
We have some missing time we have to account for, so that might be
that's
future
because you
episode.
both fell asleep in the car.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
But
no paranormal, but it was haunted.
Yes, I always do my usual where I ask and say, "Hey, what do you know? What can you tell me?" And is this place haunted? Because I usually have my little handy dandy notebook, my Blue's Clues notebook, that lists where all my ghosts are in the area and where people have reported them over the years, and with the various sites and various things I keep tabs on. And sure enough, someone had said, "Hey, this place was haunted. I worked there, in the 1990s, and it was haunted." And so I asked the waitress there if there was anything that she could say to it, and she's like, "Oh no ghost stories, but this place is definitely haunted."
Yeah. The waitress shared that there's when at night when they're alone, there's noises, and then there's shadowy figures
Yep, and that they do not like to be there after
alone at
dark.
night.
Yep. So not a full story, and I will be researching it when I get a chance.
When we do, well, we're gonna do a travels through the Cherokee area because they've got a lot of amazing Native American stories and things like that.
Yeah.
But then we went to breakfast this morning at one
Yes.
of the places along the route, which is called Lucy on the Rye,
Lucy on the Rye.
which is in Silva, North Carolina. And we asked our waitress at the very end of the day and meal, and she said yes, that her and the host believe it is haunted because all of the sudden their skin will start itching.
Yes.
And then when they leave, like they get out of the building, it stops immediately. But you researched and you found something really interesting, Mark. What did you find?
Again, checking my handy dandy notebook, the next door had a reported sighting in 2008
Oh, wow.
of a person who lived in the apartment above the next door, which is a gallery now.
Yeah.
But the apartment above next door, he had heard noises, and the shop underneath was empty at that time. And he went downstairs to see who was intruding downstairs. That was part of his rent, was being able to be a security guard technically for the empty building, make sure there were no squatters and everything. And he thought he saw a Civil War reenactor because this guy was standing there in a Union soldier outfit. And as he approached him and said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" the man was gone instantly in a flash.
In a flash, which is something you brought up, and we'll talk more about it on our next sort of further ghost things. But it's interesting because the movies always have them fade away or whatever, but they just usually disappear like right away.
Yeah, it's the Batman trick, just he's there and then he's not, while you're talking, or it literally isn't a blink of an eye.
Yes, so we're going to further investigate that too, but in true traveler spirit, with our protection bags and all, we managed to not bring them home. Callie, you should be excited about that.
Yep.
But
Yep.
all in all, a really amazing trip. So thank you, Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Festival. We really enjoyed it.
Yep. And if you want us to come to your festival or something like that that's in your town, please let them know to reach out to us, and
Yeah, they
we'd
can
be happy to
contact,
call. We'd be happy to come.
yeah, they can contact us right through the contact us page on eerietravels.com.
Yep.
Let us know, or if there's an event you think we should look into, feel free to do that. And if you have any Bigfoot stories you want to share with us, listeners, travelers, we love your Bigfoot stories. So feel free to share what you can with us. So
Okay.
Valerie,
Yeah.
thank you for being here with us.
Yes.
And where can they find your books?
Oh, at willisauthor.com and anywhere that books are sold. You can ask for Valerie Willis or Honey Cummings if you're looking for the erotic cryptid collection.
Okay, she just embarrassed herself again. It's pretty awesome. Mark, is there anything you want to say to wrap us up?
No, I just want to say that we accept both forms of beliefs in Bigfoot. We are not any form of denier at all.
We are the Switzerland of Bigfoot.
Yes, it could be a physical creature, it could be a paranormal creature, and with that, gang, go listen out in the woods for some wood knocks. Let's go to the Bigfoot conferences near you, and we'll see you on the other side.